It's been just 1 week since Hamas terrorists launched an unprecedented attack on Israel, killing and kidnapping civilians and service members. According to our latest numbers, at least 1,300 people in Israel have been killed. In Gaza, at least 2,100 were killed, and 27 American citizens have been killed, and 14 are still unaccounted for. President Biden spoke to the families of those missing Americans, reiterating his commitment to do everything possible to bring them back. Joining us now on the ground at the Israel-Gaza border is NBC News correspondent Ellison Barber. Ellison, I know you've been out there all day. What are you seeing and hearing right now? And do you know anything about the border crossings on the border with Gaza and Egypt?
So to your first question on what we've been seeing and hearing, just in the last 10 minutes or so, we've heard 4 booms and then seen the skyline, the direction Gaza is back this way, light up as things are fired, rockets from the Israeli side into Gaza. In the last 2 hours, we have heard jets over in the area overhead periodically. We have heard an artillery bombardment inside of Gaza, and we have seen rockets flying from Israel into the direction of Gaza. In terms of the crossing with Egypt, the Rafah crossing, and whether or not it is open, as far as we know right now, the answer is still no, it is not. That is the only option really right now in or out of Gaza for civilians and also humanitarian aid. The UN says humanitarian aid has not been inside of Gaza in a week now. The other border crossing that possibly people could use would be the Erez crossing, but that goes into Israeli territory. It is not open. The IDF claims that is because Hamas militants struck it when they launched their terror attack on Saturday. The Rafah border crossing, the U.S. State Department, they have told Americans to get close to it because they say if it opens, it will likely be short notice and it likely will not be open for that long. Egypt has said that Israeli airstrikes landed and damaged that crossing on Tuesday, and that it has been fully inoperable since then. But remember the situation in Gaza. That border crossing has never truly been open. In order for people or goods to travel through it, there has to be specific permission from the Palestinian side, from officials on that side of the crossing, and also from the Egyptian side of things. So we have this situation right now where 1.1 million people in northern Gaza have been told to evacuate south. It's not easy to evacuate south, first of all. And if they wanted to then cross through a border into Egypt or try to get into Israeli territories, there are literally no options for them right now. The UN says Gaza has run out of water. And when we're talking about people moving south, you touched on the fact that there were 3 convoys carrying people that were targeted as they moved south. There's also a situation right now where they have run out of fuel. The Seoul power station there, it does not have fuel. So if people were trying to get in their cars to leave, that option is gone. Our producer inside of Gaza says that 35,000 people are sheltering in the largest hospital in Gaza City right now. Things likely are only going to get worse for those civilians. And Simone, we have been watching in this area as just a massive amount of military equipment, tanks, troops, IDF troops all move in the direction of Gaza. There are no civilians in this area at all. Israel has evacuated we're just north of the border. They have evacuated all of these communities. But for Palestinians inside of Gaza, for civilians, they don't have anywhere to go. And a lot of them are afraid if they were to leave, it would be a situation like what happened in the 1940s, what they refer to as the Nakba, where they are not able to come back to their homes. Simone?
We are going to speak with a spokesperson from the IDF later in this hour. NBC's Ellison Barber live for us at the Israel-Gaza border. Thank you and stay safe.